Hello everybody, this is the 34th lecture for the IELTS. Today we are taking the the book 15, the academic IELTS, the first test number 1, the second passage, passage number 2, driverless cars. Reading passage 2 has 7 sections, A to G. Which section contains the following information? Write the correct letter A to G in boxes 14 to 18 on your answer sheet. 14. Reference to the amount of time when a car is not in use. 15. Mention of several advantages of driverless vehicles for individual road users. 16. Reference to the opportunity of choosing the most appropriate vehicle for each trip. 17. An estimate of how long it will take to overcome a number of problems. 18. A suggestion that the use of driverless cars may have no effect on the number of vehicles manufactured. That means 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. In which paragraph in the passage we find this piece of information? We have 23 and 24, 25 and 26. They are different. In 23 and 24 says choose 2 letters only. Which 2 benefits of automated vehicles does the writer mention? Then 25 and 26. Also to choose 2 letters. Which 2 challenges to automated vehicle development does the writer mention? Here we cannot answer them unless we finish the entire passage, because it takes the entire idea of the benefits and of the development of challenges to automated vehicle development. Okay, let's come. Paragraph A says, the automotive sector is well used to adapting to automation in manufacturing. This implementation of robotic car manufacture from the 1970s towards led to significant cost saving and improvements in the reliability and flexibility of vehicle mass production. A new challenge to vehicle production is now on the horizon, and again it comes from automation. However, this time it's not to do with the manufacturing process, but with the vehicles themselves. Research projects on vehicle automation are not new. Vehicles with limited self-driving capabilities have been around for more than 50 years, resulting in significant contributions towards driver assistance systems. But since Google announced in 2010, or you may read it as 2010, that it had been trialing self-driving cars on the streets of California, progress in this field has quickly gathered pace. 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, we don't find any piece of information mentioned in this paragraph. We leave it. If we suspect, we can check it at the end if we don't find any answer of 14 to 18. B. There are many reasons why technology is advancing so fast. One frequently cited motive is safety. Indeed, research of the UK's Transport Research Laboratory has demonstrated that more than 90% of road collisions involve a human error as a contributory factor, and is the primary cause in the vast majority. Automation may help to reduce the incidence of this. Okay, here it talks about the advantages. So 15 will be B. Let me re-say them. It's from the third line. More than 90% of road collisions involve human error. That means the driverless cars will reduce this, and it's already mentioned here. Okay, then another aim is to free the time people spend driving. This is another advantage for other purposes. If the vehicle can do some or all of the driving, it may be possible to be productive, to socialize, or simply to relax, while automation systems have responsibility for safe control of the vehicle. We have 5 other advantages here. If the vehicle can do the driving, those who are challenged by existing mobility models, such as older or disabled travelers, may be able to enjoy significantly greater travel autonomy. We have 2 other advantages here, so number 15 will be B. Okay, C. Beyond these direct benefits, we can consider the wider implications for transport and society, and how manufacturing processes might need to respond as a result. At present, the average car spends more than 90% of its life parked. Okay. 14 says reference to the amount of time when a car is not in use. That means 90% of its life parked, which means 14 will be C. So we leave C. We go to D because we don't have to go on. We did 14 and 15. Why do we have to go on with it? D. The Massachusetts Institute of Technology investigated automated mobility in Singapore, finding that fewer than 30% of the vehicles currently used would be required if fully automated car sharing could be implemented. If this is the case, it might mean that we need to manufacture far fewer vehicles to meet demand. 18 says, a suggestion that the use of the driverless cars may have no effect on the number of vehicles manufactured, which is mentioned here in D. So we go on. E says, automation may prompt other changes in vehicle manufacture if we move to a model where consumers are tending not to own a single vehicle, but to purchase access to a range of vehicles through a mobility provider. Drivers will have the freedom to select one that best suits their needs for a particular journey, rather than making a compromise across all their requirements. So I've read this one. 16 refers to the opportunity of choosing the most appropriate vehicle for each trip. It's already mentioned here, the freedom to select one that best suits their needs for a particular journey. So 16 will be E. Let's move to F. There are a number of hurdles to overcome in delivering automated vehicles to our road. These include the technical difficulties in ensuring that the vehicle works reliably in the infinite range of traffic. Weather and road situations. It might encounter the regulatory challenges in understanding how liability and enforcement might change when drivers are no longer essential for vehicle operation, and the societal changes that may be required for communities to trust and accept automated vehicles as being a valuable part of the mobility landscape. Number 17 doesn't talk about that because we did 14, 15, 16 and 18. We have number 17 doesn't talk about that. It talks about overcoming a number of problems. So, doesn't talk about that. G, it's clear that there are many challenges that need to be addressed, but through robust and targeted research. These can most probably be conquered within the next 10 years. Okay, 17 says an estimate of how long it will take to overcome a number of problems. We have challenges. Challenges means the problems here, and to be conquered, that means to be solved within the next 10 years. That means within the period of 10 years, which answers number 17. So 14, as if you remember, 15, 16, 17 and 18. 14 is C, 15 is B, 16 is E, 17 is G, and 18 is D. Okay, now we come to answers 23 and 24. 23 says, choose two letters. Which two benefits of automated vehicles does the writer mention? A. Car travelers could enjoy considerable cost savings. I found no information about this. B. It would be easier to find parking spaces in urban areas. None of the paragraphs or even a single sentence talks about this one. C. Travelers could spend journeys doing something other than driving. Yes, it's mentioned in B. In the first part of B, or second part of paragraph B, when it says they can socialize, they can do something productive. D. People who find driving physically difficult could travel independently. Yes, it talks about older people and about disabled people. So, C and D are the answers of 23 and 24 in either order. That means you may write it as D, C, or C. D is okay. E says a reduction in the number of cars would mean a reduction in pollution. None of them talking about pollution. I've just read E just to make sure. So the answers will be C and D. 25 and 26 also says choose two letters. Which two challenges to automated vehicle development does the writer mention? A. Making sure the general public has confidence in automated vehicles. Yes, and I found this information in F when it talks about whether and how the driverless cars can be safer on roads. It's mentioned in F. A. B. Managing the space of a transition from conventional to automated vehicles. It's not mentioned at all. C. Deciding how to compensate professional drivers who become redundant. Have read nothing about this one. D. Setting up the infrastructure to make roads suitable for automated vehicles. They haven't said they are going to change the roads or to repeat their pavements or to change them into something else. No, has not mentioned. E. Getting automated vehicles to adapt to various different driving conditions is also mentioned in F about the weather. So, in this case, A and E will be the answers of 25 and 26. Says, choose no more than two words from the passage for each answer. Write your answers in boxes 19 to 22 on your answer sheet. The impact of a driverless cars. So we found this piece of information from the entire passage. We need to reread it to understand the answers. Figures from the Transport Research Laboratory indicate that most motor accidents are partly due to. Okay, as I remember, I've read this in paragraph B. There are many reasons why technology is advancing so fast. One frequently cited motive is safety. Research of the UK's Transport Research Laboratory. Yes, it says Transport Research Laboratory. Okay, has demonstrated that more than 90% road collisions involve a human error. Due to human error. So number 19 will be human error. Okay, let's go on. So the introduction of driverless vehicles will result in a greater safety. In addition to the direct benefits of automation, it may bring other advantages. For example, schemes for it may bring other advantages. As I remember, we have the advantages are mentioned, the other advantages are mentioned in C. Let me read C. If I couldn't find it, I will go back to the advantages in B. Beyond these direct benefits, we can consider the wider implications for transport and society, and how manufacturing process might need to respond as a result. At present, the average car spends more than 90% of its life parked. Automation means the initiatives for car sharing become much more viable. It says it may bring other advantages. For example, a scheme for gap will be more workable. And it says here, automation means that initiatives for car sharing become much more viable, particularly in urban areas with significant travel demand. Let's continue here. Workable, especially in towns and cities, yes, in urban areas, resulting in fewer cars on the road. So number 20 will be car sharing. Let's make sure. At present, the average car spends more than 90% of its life parked. Automation means the initiatives, which means schemes for car sharing, become much more viable, particularly in urban areas, and it talks here about cities, towns, and cities. Okay, so number 20 will be car sharing. Let's go on. According to the University of Michigan Transportation Research Institute, let's go to Michigan. E says automation may prompt other changes. Vehicle manufacturer. Okay, we don't have something in C about Michigan, I think. Let me make sure. It says according to the university. Sorry, D. Yes, D. I went to E. Sorry, D. The Massachusetts Institute of Technology investigated automated mobility in Singapore, finding that fewer than 30% of vehicles currently used would be required if fully automated car sharing could be implemented. In this case, it might mean okay. However, the number of trips being taken increased in part because of empty vehicles would have to be moved from one customer to the next. Modeling work by here in D. Modeling work by the University of Michigan Transport Research Institute suggests. Okay, let's read. According to the University of Michigan Transportation Research Institute, there could be a 43% drop in gap of cars. Let's see here. Modeling work by the University of Michigan Transportation Research Institute suggests automated vehicles might reduce vehicle ownership by 43%. So in this case will be ownership. Drop in ownership of cars. We can't say in cars ownership of cars or in vehicles ownership of cars because vehicles means cars. So the answer will be ownership. In ownership of cars. Why? Because it says here automated vehicles might reduce vehicle ownership by 43%. So the answer will be ownership. Let's go on. However, this would mean that the yearly gap of each car would on average be twice as high as it currently is. Okay, let's see. Let's go on with this one. But that vehicle's average annual mileage, yes, annual, yearly, let's go back. Because we have yearly and annual and they carry the same meaning. However, this would mean that the yearly gap of each car would, on average, be twice as high as it currently is. This would lead to a higher turnover of vehicles and therefore no reduction in automotive manufacturing. Let's see. After by 43% in paragraph D, the third part, which is in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sentences on the left. Modeling work by the University of Michigan Transportation Research Institute suggests automated vehicles might reduce vehicle ownership by 43%, but the vehicle's average annual mileage would double as a result. So the answer will be mileage here. The answer of a 22 mileage, because we have yearly annual gap of each car would be twice as high as it currently is. And here it says annual mileage would double as a result. So the answer will be mileage. Let's go back to let's re-answer then. 19 will be human error, 20 car sharing, 21 ownership, and 22 mileage. Okay, and if we come to the question, it says no more than 2 words. Our answers were 1 or 2 words. Thank you very much for watching this lecture. Wish that you got the benefit. Please, if you liked the lecture or got the benefit, just press on the button of subscribe. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments. If you have any criticism, also you may write your criticism in the comments. Thank you for watching. It was Mr. Haidar Qasir with you. Thanks a lot.